Hey everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Welcome to a new week. I'm pretty excited to get this week going. I'm feeling like this is the countdown to Costa Rica. I got a lot to do between now and then and I'm excited about getting it done. It's actually, even though I'm ready to get back to the tropics and get ready to get back to my fruit, I'm actually looking forward to these next 2 months. They're going to set up a lot of things for the future. And that's pretty exciting stuff. I wanted to start the week off talking about my way of doing a raw food diet. What, how, and why. I do videos every day, so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button now so you can come back and watch more content, and then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. I was sitting around last night winding down after, my trip and just thinking about the week to come and, answering some comments on YouTube and other places and just thinking about the questions I get. And sometimes I think I would be so much more relatable if I could be pinned down on those questions, if I could give those definitive answers to why. Every time I get a why question, it's almost like, oh God, another why question here. Let's turn the brain on. Let's see what kind of halfway reasonably intelligent answer I can crank out on this. Because my head doesn't work quite the same as other people. I just don't have all these whys. I don't need all these whys. The reason it's hard to also answer a lot of questions sometimes is I don't sit around, I do videos and yes, I'm very active with the food, but I don't really sit around and geek out on this stuff. I don't read the holy books and I don't take the holy books as word of law. And I'm not sitting around, trying to memorize stuff so I can regurgitate some explanation how it's supposed to be done. I do things the way I do things because of my past, because of my background. We're all brought to the point in time we're at because of people we've met in the past, experiences we've had in the past, and our circumstances. Well, my way of doing this raw food diet is tropical. I mean, my name, the name of this brand, the name of this channel says it all. Raw, tropical living. It throws the raw in there because the food is a big part, but it's tropical. I'm a child of the tropics. Listen, the reason my opinions and the way I do things are shaped, and it could be very different, if I'd have come to this lifestyle while I was in Alabama, may not have even happened, or even if I was in Florida, where else. If I'd have come to this lifestyle at other locations or other times in my life or under circumstances, the way I'm doing this might be completely different. It's kind of that butterfly effect, you can't say because if everything else had changed about my life, maybe I wouldn't have even come to this. But you gotta kind of get out of your day-to-day and wrap your head around that. Everybody's always talking about, oh, I'd like to go where there's fresh tropical fruit available all the time. Some people do that for a vacation. Some people, that's just some dream in the sky that may or may not ever happen. For me, that was my reality. That's where it all began. It began in a place of good, abundant fruit all the time. It began in a place where I didn't have to think about all this ripening. I didn't have to buy bananas, green bananas that are about 7 or 8 shades away from being right to eat. So in a way, I got the training wheels off on this lifestyle pretty early because I had what I needed all around me. I didn't have all these excuses. Not necessarily excuses, but I just didn't have these distractions, It wasn't like I had a hard time. It's like, okay, well, I'm tempted by this because I can't find what I'm supposed to be eating. And I had that all the time, from day one. I had endless supplies of bananas, pineapples, papayas, usually mangoes too, and a number of other tropical fruits. So that's just what shapes me. That's what I do. People love to knock this word fruitarian around all the time, and I don't really identify by labels. I'm not around talking about myself as a fruitarian all the time, but if I'm not a fruitarian, by most definitions I've seen, I don't know what is, my diet is based on fruit. That's part of the how. My diet is so is based on fruit. Fruit is the huge bulk of my diet. It's mostly fruit, greens. I throw in some other vegetables and whatever. And a lot of times too, another how about me, it's like I'm not like every single bite, okay, what is it? I don't have like this little calculator in my head going, okay, this is a such and such, this is the composition. I eat some vegetables. I see people getting all these vegetable debates about eating vegetables. And I'm just like, oh, God, am I going to blow that's the most asinine conversation in the world. Is this vegetable good for it? Do we need this vegetable? Do we need these types of vegetables? Do we need anything besides leafy greens? I don't know. I don't try to worry about that all that much. I'll put it like this. You know, for a world out there eating the standard American diet, going through drive-thrus, eating so much ungodly stuff, whether we need this particular vegetable, should we eat broccoli? Shouldn't we? Do we eat cruciferous? I don't think broccoli is going to shorten my lifespan, and I like broccoli. I like other things. So that's how that's how I thrive on this lifestyle, is just eating the way I eat. And how have I gotten here? I've gotten here I've talked about this in videos before. In the beginning, you know, and some people will go, oh, that's just kind of woo-woo, the people that talk about listening to their bodies. Well, there's an evolution of listening to your body. In the beginning, when you come to something completely new, no, you can't just like say, throw it out to the universe, I'm just going to listen to my body. Your body has to kind of adapt. It has to relearn how we were meant to eat in the first place. So, you know, it takes a while. So in the beginning, no, it's not all listening to your body. In the beginning, it was a lot more watching videos for me, reading, you know, looking stuff up. Once again, I'll throw that in that I throw in all the time. Google. Stop asking asinine questions just to people and leaving it out in the universe when you can focus. Google is focused learning. Just asking random questions out there is just kind of like a waste of time, because you got to sift through all the crackpot stuff. You've got to, you know, evaluate stuff. Go to Google, go to YouTube and search. And that's been, you know, that's highly been my approach. So in the beginning, yes, there was more learning, but as I kind of learned more and more, I experimented more and more, I learned a new trick. Oh, okay, besides the fruit, I need to be getting these greens. When I make my smoothies, if I add some greens in there, if I add some good, healthy, that's got a better ratio of omega-3s like chia seeds. So tick, 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 I learn. Then I get to a certain point where I'm like, okay, my body's kind of taken over. And now I'm starting to really like, okay, notice the subtleties. If I eat this, I don't feel bad, but I don't feel quite as good. If I'm eating like this, and then I start going with it, and then I'm like, ooh, I haven't done this in a while. Wow, wow, I'm feeling better and better every day. I'm like, okay, this is where I need to be. I get questions all the time on Instagram and stuff like this, and it's listen, there's no complaints about these questions. I'm just kind of talking about the frustration of me being able to answer them sometimes. You know, people will see me doing something like similar what I'm doing now, where I'm doing, you know, mostly smoothies, and I'm doing juice and whatever, and I get all these like geeky break it down questions. Well, the juice, shouldn't we be, does the juice enter your bloodstream at a certain rate, because, or do you need, without the fiber? And I'm like, I like orange juice. I like orange juice. I don't need to go beyond that. You know what? I don't care what kind of statistics, whether we need something to slow it down, how it releases into the bloodstream, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to keep drinking orange juice. And once again, like I said with the vegetables, okay, so what are you telling me there? Are you telling me there that orange juice is going to take time off my life? It's going to decline my health rather than improve my health? I don't think so. Or, you know, like the smoothies, well, do you drink everything? No, I go through different phases. And that's another part of the how on this raw food diet. I go through phases all the time. I'm never, you know, it's not like if you ever look at any 1 year period of my life, I'm not trying to do the same thing across the board for a year. I go through phases where for one reason or another, I eat more fat. I eat higher fat. I don't eat high fat. I don't eat high fat over a period of time, but I eat higher fat. Who knows? Maybe I get up into the 15% range, sometimes 20. Oh my God. Oh my God. The low fat, the super uber strict low fat raw vegans, their heads are exploding right now. But then my body feels like it's ready to take another shift, and I cut out overt fats completely for 3 weeks, a month. When I was in the tropics, sometimes, you know, however long a time. And I just kind of go like that, and then, you know, I go without any fat, and I go really super pure for a while, and I'm feeling like, okay, maybe my skin needs a little of that fat. And there's always this adjusting, and it's also adjusting by, and that's why I go back to, I am a child of the tropics. My diet is based completely on the tropics because there's these fruits coming in, and I'll come across a fruit that's like in super abundance at the time, like the mangoes. When the mangoes come in, I'm not worrying about balance. I'm not worrying about, well, is that good for you to exist just on mangoes? No, I'm just thinking like a pure animal would that comes across a tree that's full of fruit. What's the animal going to do out in nature? What's one of our cousins, an ape, a chimp, going to do out in nature? Is he going to eat is he going to see a tree full of fruits, eat a few fruits and say, okay, that's good. I need some balance. Let me go see if I can find another tree. Probably he's just going to lay into that tree and eat and eat and eat and eat. And that's kind of what I do with my fruits. You know, when I find something, I do it. Listen, and all in all, the thing is like, I'm not going to change my approach. I don't need the bromances or the romances or the food mances that people try to push on me. Well, maybe you should watch so-and-so, or you should connect with so-and-so, or what do you think about so-and-so? I think this, God bless them. God bless them. They're eating a whole food plant-based diet. I don't get too much into that trying to critique other people's diet. Like I've said many times before, this whole raw thing is just, it's secondary. It's very secondary to me. I just want to see more people adopt a whole food plant-based lifestyle. Plant-based, you know, where they go beyond that is, you know, it's their own business. But for me, and also too, every once in a while somebody says, well, you need to look at something, or they're trying to kind of instruct me or teach me or something. And I'm like, let me be quite honest, and I don't mean this to offend anybody because we all are where we are, but I don't need somebody in some little godforsaken state here in the United States that's never been around, you know, abundance of tropical fruit telling me, you know, what I need to be eating, because in my opinion, it's not just about the fruit. Our bodies, it's about the tropical fruit. My body thrives on a tropical fruit. I'll guarantee you could give me an abundance of another type of fruit that's not tropical. It might be good, might be organic. I'm sure it's good for the body, but it's not the same as getting those good tropical fruits, which is why I'm ready to get back to where I need to get back to. And which is why that's where I'll eventually settle. You know, people ask me sometimes, well, why'd you leave, or why are you in the States? Well, you know, my mother's older, she's elderly, she's 87 years old. I enjoy spending time with her. You know, I came up here for several months to do some things, and I'm not going back down there to live, not just yet. But I think some things are going to happen on this trip. But yeah, in the end, it's just like, I just do my thing. I don't try to put too much into it. I don't try to, you know, like I used to. I wanted to be like the educators out there. I wanted to be able to sit and explain, you know, the nuts and bolts, the ABCs of this lifestyle, from that scientific, well, this does this and this does that. I can understand it. I just can't regurgitate it, retain it, and give it back. But once again, like I say, I'm a product of how I started this lifestyle. I can't just shift gears in midstream. I can adapt, but having been here for 6-7 months now, I can tell you it just is, until I got the oranges, until the oranges kind of saved me a couple of weeks ago and gave me kind of that, even if they disappear tomorrow, which I hope they don't, even if they disappear tomorrow, they kind of gave me that little oasis in the desert, that little vacation that just gave me a little glimpse, and it sparked me enough to hold me over. Now I know I'm in that home stretch, 2 months to go. I'm going to ride these oranges as far as I can. I got some more mangoes this weekend, but you know, I'll be home in 2 months. And I'm going to, in that 4 or 5 months that I'm down there, I've learned what it's like to be up here for an extended period of time. I will store up. I will eat as, I mean, it's going to be crazy clean. I'm telling you, you haven't seen anything yet until you see me go back after having been deprived of that stuff for a while. And soaking up that vitamin D, but it's going to be a whole different story when I get back home. But anyhow, that's why, what I do, what I do. Be it, maybe it's not your thing. I will never be that person that's going to sit here and say like, look, my way is the right way. You need to be doing things this way. You've got to do them this way, or this is bad, or whatever. I'm just saying, I'm kind of like, damn the consequences. This is how I do things. All the prodding and hinting and what in the world's not going to change me. And I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm very content with my life. And in the end, that's more important than anything else, isn't it? Anyhow, just rambling a little bit to start the week. Hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you again tomorrow. Peace.